Guruji, at the beginning of the class, you mentioned the repetition of a branch of your own Veda. I didn't understand that. What does it mean?
Yeah, so see, the Veda, for example, if you take this one, Yajurveda, Yajurveda has branches. One is called Krishna Yajurveda, another is called Shukla Yajurveda. The Veda itself is divided into two, as though there are two Vedas within one Veda. That is called a Shaka. Each branch is called a Shaka. And even though we say there are four Vedas and each of us have to be a part of a Veda, so we say I'm a Yajurvedi, Rigvedi, etc. We say. But then when we study, see, Vivadaye Angirasa Paurakrutsa Trasasasya Trayasheya Pravaranvita Shadamashnagotra Apastamba Shuka Apastamba Sutra Yajushaka Adhyayi. So that Shaka is being mentioned. So I have to mention what Shaka I am studying. That's a way to introduce ourselves, So this Vedas that we are studying, it's pretty voluminous books here. So right here it says Krishna Yajurvediya Taittiriya Samhita, then Krishna Yajurvediya Taittiriya Brahma. Okay. So there are many shakas. Means it's the same Veda, but taught by different rishis, and that has grown into its own big Veda, as it were. And so that branch we talked about, they use the word shaka for that. And so based on our tradition, we come to know what shaka we are and what we are supposed to study and pass it on to the next generation.
So when the child is given his Upanayana and when they do the Abhivade, they mention Angirasa, whatever, and then goes on to their Shaka, and that gives them the practice in their lifetime to be passed on.
Correct.
Thank you, Guruji.
Because Veda is not one book somewhere that everybody has seen. Nobody has seen the Veda, in fact. Nobody has seen the Veda. Nobody can claim I saw the Veda somewhere because you will never find a book. It's not like one book. It's many, many books. And no person will have all four Vedas. Because a person, maximum one Veda, the person will have. Chaturvedi. Now that's a different thing. Chaturvedi means you can imagine. What a mind that is. What a mind that is. Yeah. Haraprasad, go ahead. Yeah, one trick, Haraprasadji, one trick to unmute and mute, in the keyboard, if you're good with the keyboard, you can do Alt A. Alt A for audio, Alt A. If you type Alt A, it will mute you. If you type it again, it will unmute you. Try that.
Can I press Alt A?
There you go. You are muted now. There you go. You try it again. There you go. You're unmuted.
Got it. Thank you. Mahodaya, my question is then, both Devi Sampat and Asuri Sampat is purely a karma phala?
Okay, can you elaborate what you're expecting? What are you saying?
Yeah. It is born, when you born, you will have this.
So good. So the question is this: is it a karma phalam or not? Means am I born with this? Okay. See, what is karma phalam? Karma phalam is a result of past karma, we say, result of present karma also. Karma phalam is not just past karma. The result of actions done in this life also. That means the karma phalam is a result of everything I did only, whether it is just janma or past janma.
Correct.
And therefore, I've been working on it, working on it, working on it. Yeah. Therefore, in this janma, I'm born with what I had in the previous janma. There is no loss. How do you know there's no loss? What is the pramanam for that? What is the pramanam for that?
Well,
Suppose I say,
I didn't understand your question.
okay, suppose I worked on it in the last janma. I'm working on it now also. I have Daivi Sampat. Next janma, what is the guarantee that I'm going to have Daivi Sampat?
It depends on this dharma.
All right, this janma was led just fine. I worked hard and I did whatever I was supposed to do. I was dharmic and I'm studying the Shastram also. And therefore, I'm definitely building my Daivi Sampat.
Correct.
Next janma, what will happen to me? Suppose no moksha. Next janma, I'm born. Then what happens?
You will have a lot of Daivi Sampat.
And the pramanam for that is
Yoga Brashta.
Correct.
I didn't hear that.
Arjuna asked the question, hey Krishna, in which chapter is it, Narayana?
I think it is sixth chapter. Sixth chapter.
Sixth chapter. He says, hey, Kachin Nuvaya Vibrashtaha Chinnabhramiva Nashyati Apratishto Mahabaho Kam Gatim Krishna Gachati. Hey Krishna, somebody's worked hard and then suddenly dies for some reason. Then it looks like, this cloud the clouds are all moving. And this one little cloudlet just separated out and then disappeared because the minute you separate out from the cloudlet is gone. It is vaporized. Like that, is that the fate of that person? And Krishna says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Parthana Ivehana Mudra Vinashastasya Vidyate. That is our pramana. Tasya Vinashaha Na Vidyate. No effort goes waste. And he tells what all happens, etc. Shuchi Nam Srimatam. So therefore, it's my own effort, Haraji, that's creating this Devi.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. So it is because of karma phala.
Okay, fine. Karma phala and karma also. So karma phala, sometimes the karma phala, sometimes we may think, oh, it is due to something that's coming that's not in my control. Because karma is not in my control, right? Past karma is not in my control now.
Yes. Yes.
Not in my control, but still created by me only. Not in my control now, but it was in my control in my previous.
Yes.
So yeah, karma phala and continue to build on it in this life with karma.
Okay. Got
Right.
it. And secondly,
and everything. That statement is true with everything, not just with Daivi Sampat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And second thing is, what is asuri? Asura, what is the difference between asura and asura?
Asuraha. So, asurasya bhavaha asuraha asuri.
Oh, okay.
Asurasya bhavaha asuri.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
What makes an asura is called asuri.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya.
Go ahead, Vijay.
Guruji, this is also connected with the gunas, right? The more sattvic guna is there prominent in you, you will be more into Daivi Sampada.
Correct. Guna. He's using the word Sampat here. Oh. He could have used the word Guna. Maybe he didn't use it to distinguish it from the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Maybe.
Yeah, but sattva guna is more like the Daivi Sampada. If you have more of sattva guna, you will be having the qualities of the Daivi Sampada, right? And maybe more of the tamasic and rajasic, you will get into asuri sampada.
Correct.
And both can be worked on. It's okay, karma phala and all that is there, but probably you can work on moving from tamas to rajas to sattva so that your qualities also, these qualities come into you. Would that be right to say that?
Yeah, it is the only right thing to say. There's no other option. What you said is the only option. Could be worked on, must be worked on.
Because he
Because
is now somewhere in one of the shlokas you mentioned very clearly, like black and white. You are either this or that. Is it like that, or it's a kind of a transition, right? You're moving from one to the other. So there are areas where you're having both qualities, maybe not black and white. Would it?
Yeah. Yeah. Two extremes. Two extremes. So one has to move from one extreme to the other. Extremes are easy to define, Gray area is little bit this side, that side. So extremes are easy. Define the extremes, then you take it away from there.
Dhanyavad.
And also, by the way, one more thing we should remember. There is nobody who has only Asuri Sampat and no Daivi Sampat at all. Such a person doesn't exist. Take Duryodhana. I'm sure he had some good qualities. At least he must have been compassionate with his children or something. Some good qualities must be there. Every human being. And so we should not take one aspect. Generally, we would take one aspect of a person. Often we see that particular sampat and then we just brand the person, label the person. No good, fool, idiot. We use all these words. But really speaking, such a person doesn't exist. Everybody is a Mishra. Everybody is a Mishra. Because the Asuric fellow also is compassionate toward himself. When he gets hurt, you know what he does? And then he just he wants the doctor also to be compassionate to him, and he is also compassionate. Suddenly, compassion just comes out of nowhere. Well, out of nowhere is not possible. Out of him only it comes. He has that sampath, and so it can come out.
No, but being compassionate to oneself also would qualify as a Daivi Sampada, or?
Why not? Why not? Hey, compassion has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere. So at least to oneself, we should be compassionate. Atma Kripa is there, then that becomes the nucleus, that becomes the seed for every other Kripa. If I am compassionate to myself, why can't I be compassionate to others? That thought should arise at least sometime. So that's why
One should
there
not
is
torture
no.
oneself.
Huh?
One should not torture oneself.
Yeah, because there are people who hurt themselves also. You can see that something is bothering them. They will actually physically hurt them.
So it's
Putting themselves in situations which definitely going to hurt. And then as though oblivious of danger, that kind of thing is also there. Yes.
Dhanyavad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guruji,
Go ahead.
okay. So Narayan Kamatji has asked a question in the chat box.
Oh, I have not seen the chat yet. Okay, Narayan, you go ahead and ask it.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask in 16.5, the Lord assures Arjuna, you are born with Daivi Sampat. Yeah? So the question is it just meant for Arjuna, or is he telling all of us you are born with Daivi Sampat? Is that assurance for all of us? Because, ultimately he is addressing all of us through Arjuna, isn't it?
Yeah, he's addressing all of us, sure, because we are all Arjunas here. And so, yeah, he's addressing all of us. Definitely. No doubt about it. Yeah, we have to put ourselves in Arjuna's shoes. We cannot afford to separate ourselves from Arjuna. It's not good. Arjuna is different and I'm different. No need to think like that. We're all Arjunas. We have the same problems that Arjuna has. And Krishna has covered a whole gamut of values. So really, there is nothing left out. There's nothing left out. I mean, Narayanji, your talks and motivational speeches and all these things, you cover a lot of these things. I think, what do you think? I mean, Krishna has put in so many different values and attitudes. I think it gives you a good, like an encyclopedia of values, is it not? Yeah. So yeah, definitely, he's addressing us. Yeah, Meera, go ahead.
Guruji, if we take the example of Ravana, you see him throughout, he was good at performing rituals, recitation of one's own branch of Vedas, but it didn't guarantee the other qualities of Indriya, Nigraha and all that, right? But when it comes to other qualities, like if a person has absence of hurting, truthfulness, it guarantees certain qualities, right? So in this Devi Sampat itself, I thought like the attitude behind having certain qualities also, I think, is very crucial, because knowing the Vedas, chanting didn't guarantee him that Indriya Nigraha, right?
So we should be aware of this. No value guarantees another value. That is why Krishna is giving a big list. Okay. See, we've seen people who are kind to the rest of the people, but if you go to their own home, they are not kind to their own family members. How? You think they are very compassionate, kind, oh, how nice he is and all that. You go to their home, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. They'll be shouting at their own children and spouses. That means what? It tells us it's all, still we have to go a long way. There's something, there's some confusion is there. Some confusion is there. As though I have a right to shout at my family members. That's what I think. That's why that happens. I have a right, That means the values are half-baked value. Half-baked. Everything is half-baked. We have to bake it completely. That's why Krishna doesn't guarantee anything. Ahimsa paramo dharma, we say. That's good. Ahimsa is just, the thread is running all through. Compassion must be there. But we have to pay attention to everything. Nothing is guaranteed. That's why alertness. You have to be alert throughout the day.
Consistency.
I don't see Krishna guaranteeing anything at all. All he guarantees is, hey, if you work on it this life, you can continue. The same thread will continue. That's all he says. Yeah, Meera?
Yeah.
You thought I'll give you a different answer.
I was just thinking about people glorifying you. You see them writing about Ravana. There are some followers glorifying and all that. So I was just trying to understand their mindset. Like, when it is an avatara, then you can probably, can you ascertain that avatara will never make mistakes? Because the purpose of avatara is for dharma samrakshana.
So, yeah, exactly. So, the definition of a mistake is an interpretation. Interpretation. What is right at one time may be wrong at another time. So, there is no such action called a mistake. Okay, it's never like that. You can't say opening the lock like this is a mistake. You know why? See, watch my hand. Am I opening or closing?
Some locks open that way.
Huh?
There are some locks which are designed that way.
It's called the Western world. In the Western world, they purposely they do it like this.
Yeah.
And we do it like this. So you can't even say which one is right, wrong. You can't say. It all depends on context. So they lock the door like this in India. Then they flew to America. Then they are locking the door like this there when they go to America. What is this? It's opposite.
Left hand side, left hand right, left hand driving, right hand driving.
Everything is different. Everything is different. So, and also this avatars, will they also always do the right thing? It is better not to judge avatars. It is better for us, for our sanity. Otherwise, what will happen? We will get into a whole discussion of whether Arjuna, when Krishna was partial to Arjuna, and then Krishna, you know what he did? He bent the chariot a little down, and that Karna's arrow went on top, and then hit the crown of Arjuna. Krishna is very partial. I think Arjuna would have died. We will get into this kind of argument. It misses the whole point of the Bhagavad Gita and all. Everything gone. Everything gone after that. If I start talking like this, then whatever little Shraddha I had in Krishna and in the Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana and all our heroes, all down the drain. How much Shraddha I need? Who am I to judge Krishna? Judging Krishna is, we have to talk. See, children will ask this question. Parents should be ready for all these things. Young parents should be ready. Why did Arjuna do this? Why did Krishna do that? You be ready. Hey, Krishna is Devata, is God. And what happens to us? Hey, did you ever escape an accident? Yeah, I escaped an accident exactly like that one. That is what happened there also. Krishna is shown as the unseen power. Unseen power, Ishvara. Therefore, anything can happen in the war. Don't assume, don't give human status to Krishna. Then our life becomes easier and the whole epic becomes beautiful. Otherwise, the unnecessary, endless argument will be there. No use to anybody. Swami Tattvavidananda, somebody asked him, some context was there where Swamiji advised, suppose Swamiji advises, okay, fine, you chant this Nama and then that will give you some peace of mind. And then immediate question, how will that give me peace of mind? Gone. Oh, now what can I do? Oh, Swamiji also is helpless after this point. We are very good at making Swamiji helpless. That's what Swamiji said in Satsang that day. It's been coming from generations, and now I've told you something. Now you say how? Oh, means now what am I supposed to do? The silence. After that, only silence will be there. There are certain things we just accept, then believe it and go with it. Certain things we don't have to believe. We have to ask what, why, etc. So in these matters, avatara we don't. Avatara is Ishvara. Ishvara avatara came for a particular purpose. And so it's like we never question a judge. Judges can be corrupt. Okay, leave corrupt judges aside. But judge means what? You hand over the whole system to them. Now you decide. You are the one who has to solve this problem. Judge says, okay, I'll take it up. That's the way it should work.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Yeah, Vaidya, go ahead.
Yeah, Jaykumarji, I wanted to talk about that the earlier discussion we had about Daya, for example, right? So I think that the value of compassion has to start with oneself, because if one is not compassionate towards oneself, you'll be so lack of peace will be there. You'll be so discontent. You will not be compassionate to others also. This is what I think. You will like snap at others, you will find fault. There is no reason to find fault. One will not be understanding. One will not be accommodative.
Yeah, so the nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to be in pain. Nobody wants to be deceived. Nobody wants to be insulted. So that seems natural. So we have to build on that. We have to build on that. If I don't want to be deceived, why should I deceive somebody? That thought has to come. Thought has to come. And that thought, just allow it to grow, and then allow it to challenge us all the way through. All the way through. Then Daivi Sampat will grow. You're right. Atma Kripa. Only Atma Kripa, then only you can have Ishvara Kripa. You know what they say? What is that shloka? What is that shloka? Sahaya Krit. There's a beautiful shloka. Tatra Devaha Sahaya Krit. Devaha Sahaya Krit. It'll come to me. It lists a lot of virtues. And then it says, you must have those virtues. Otherwise, God will not help you. Okay. That's how it says. This shloka, I used to remember it. I'm not getting it. So, Tatra Devaha Sahaya Krit. That's how it ends. Where these values are there alone, Bhagavan will come and help. Yeah, beautiful it is. So therefore, you're right. Atma Kripa is critical. Then only you've got Ishvara Kripa, then Shastra Kripa and Guru Kripa will come later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to
Then the
build.
second point I wanted to mention, Jaykumarji, was this is something Puja Swamiji used to say, which is if you don't have one of these qualities, how do you go about developing it? And then you would say, if somebody wants to be compassionate, I'm not compassionate now, how can I become compassionate? And Puja Swamiji will say, act compassionately.
You know where it's coming from? You know where it's coming from? You know where it's coming from?
It's from a Vedam, right?
Samaveda.
Yeah.
You're a Samavedi, no Vidya?
Correct. Correct. So
It's coming.
Setum
It's coming
tara. Setum
Correct.
tara.
Danena danam tara. Danena adanam tara. If you want to cross over this ocean of Adanam means just I, me, myself. If you want to cross over that ocean, Danena tara. Danena adanam tara. Akrodhena krodam tara. I'm very angry. What should I do? You have to find a way. You have to remind yourself and find a way not to get angry next time. Okay? That's the only way. Danena adanam tara. Like that Samaveda. Remember, I played the mantra to you the other day. One of the classes I played long ago. So that is Setun stara, danena danam, danena danam. Very interesting way of chanting all these things. So, Setu, it is called, in fact, the name of the section of the Samaveda is called Setu Sama. Setu Sama. And Setu Sama is important. What is that? Setu means bridge. Okay, this is the only bridge that is there. You have to build your own bridge. And if you already recognized that Krodha is a problem, then work on it. Work on it. Build a bridge. And there is a bridge. It will work. And that's the way to cross over this bridge. Like that, it's a beautiful one.
Yeah, and then third thing, just briefly, I wanted to say what you said about not judging an avatara. I think that comes from the fact that you're a sampradaya with. So I think this also says that, when we study Ramayanam or other Shastram, we should always study it with a person from a sampradaya. Otherwise, one will become like Karunanidhi and all those modern variants of that.
Yeah, because there's a lot at stake. You're right. There's a lot at stake here. Thanks, Vaidya. Prasad, go ahead.
Namaste, Jayakumarji. So the question is on the movement of the mind, or whatever changes happening in the mind. So I was just today a lot of topics had come, so I thought I wanted to quote some instances which I was thinking through, and because we talked about the three gunas, the dominance of them, or the Daiva, Sura, Sampatti, and other things. So the instances are like I was thinking, 2 weeks back, 3 weeks back, I was in Miami. And so we went to a national park. So then there was a big pond. It's not lake anyway, it's a pond, big pond. So we were going through that. And when I looked into the pond, I saw beautiful surrounding with all the, because there are so many colorful trees around that pond. They are reflected there, and the sky is reflected very clear, and it's very clear water. So the mind immediately went to think of Vedanta, So that's one instance at what my mind at that point of time. Similarly, when I go for a walk, because it's a beautiful environment with a lot of greenery in nature, so the mind again start thinking about, in a very probably the sattva guna probably dominant. That's what I'm thinking. That's an answer I was thinking, but this is what I want to hear from you. And then I was thinking even the past also. For example, I remember when I was not even thorough in English, speaking English also, I read, I remember Irving Wallace stories. And in fact, in one day, I completed the whole story. I remember still the name of it, Second Lady, things like that. I think seven something else is there. So, so that's one the instance of the mind, right? Because even though I'm not thorough in certain thing, but my mind is totally engrossed into that. So, and then other thing is that when I'm listening to Vedanta, for example, my mind also moves away. The movement happens there also, even though I'm so much interested in that. The mind moves away, but the mind is moving to extracting the memory parts of it to go to some other thing. So, but then I miss certain point while listening to the points which has been taught. Not here, I mean like when audio and all, for example. So these are all various instances. So I was thinking whether it is when those instances where there is serene atmosphere, it is the sattva which actually is dominant at that point of time, which makes me think that way. Because when I am into, again, back to world, then its movement happens, like it just switches from one to the other, right? That's the normal nature of the mind. And also normally it is the meditative mind, which is already a meditative mind, but it deflects from that mind to go into so many other things. So can I think that it is, because we talked about the gunas as well as other things, the sattva, this is what I was thinking. Maybe at that point of time, a sattva guna is more predominant. That's why I got that thought when I go to a serene atmosphere, things like that. So I just want to elaborate on that from you.
So this movement of the mind, what happens when we are beginning this journey, we cultivate this calmness of mind. It's a value. calmness of mind. So, Dhyana meditation is an excellent time when the mind is trained to be quiet. Be quiet. Because that's the and then we realize it's the most difficult thing. And so the mind is trained to be quiet, and we train ourselves. But the purpose of mind is not to be quiet. Purpose of hand is to do, lift things, pani grahanam. It has to do, grab and take things, stuff, cook, everything it has to do. That is the purpose of hand. Purpose of eye is to see things and report stuff to me. Purpose of mind, is to do its job. The job of the mind is to grasp things and process things. Processing is movement, grasping is movement, deliberation is movement, confusion is saying, I'm confused about it. That's also movement of the mind only. Therefore, when we say meditate and keep your mind calm, that doesn't mean that all other movement is wrong. Because mind's job is to move. Only then things work. Mind will work. Mind is working means mind is moving. Thoughts are changing. Processing is happening. Okay. So this we must be clear. So therefore, the value of practicing bringing up a silent mind is a value. It means what? It means I am able to, when I tell my mind to be quiet, the mind actually becomes quiet. It is a great thing. This is not possible. Most people can't do that. And therefore, I can be quiet. It means even though I have a lot of issues to solve, still I can be quiet right now. For 1 minute, I can be quiet. That's good. That means I have a mastery over my mind. Okay. I am not going to be carried away by things that are happening around me. Okay. That's good. But once that capacity is there, whether the mind is silent or whether my mind is moving and active, it's the same thing. It is the same thing. Correct? It's the same. Because the Dhamma and Shama is there. For Dhamma and Shama to be there, my mind does not have to be quiet. Engaging in this world. Krishna is engaging in the world. Krishna is Ishvara. Why should Ishvara engage in the world? Trishu lokeshu kinchana. Nanavaptam avaptavyam. Varta evacha karmani. Still I am engaging in action. That's what he says. Because that's my role. Right now, that is my job. I've come here for a purpose. And so I'm going to be busy. In my own way, I'll be busy. That's what he said. So, therefore, if I get hooked to a quiet mind, then that can be a problem. Because every time the mind is not quiet, I'll be upset. Means every time the mind is going somewhere, I'll be upset because the mind is not in my control. So these are some aspects that come to my mind when you spoke. And you see if there's any of these is of value or not.
Even samadhana, which is one of the quality, which is chitta ekagrata we talk about. So is it so basically all qualities which you talk about, and you also mentioned like it's half baked qualities, then it has to be fully, like you said earlier, about the qualities which we talked today. Even here, it's samadhana is like chitta ekagrata. If I wanted, if I concentrate on something, it should come immediately, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong in it. So that's how a jnani, for example, by definition, if I sit and meditate, within seconds, you'd be able to focus on chitta ekagrata, right? I mean, which a normal person cannot do. So the qualities have to be improved, like as you said. So these would help in spending having more time in that mind, having that serenity or whatever. So
Definitely. It's a sadhana. It's a sadhana for us. It's a sadhana for us. We have to practice that. Because the typical day is busy. It doesn't give us time to sit and ponder about life and stars and things like that. And so we have to consciously make an effort to just switch off everything. And we have to keep doing it. We have to keep on doing it until there's no need to do it. Correct?
Yeah.
We should be convinced that there'll be a time when there's no need to do it also. Well, we don't need to look for that moment, but we can always practice it. And because one can meditate, afterwards you can meditate even while sitting in the bus stand. Sitting in the doctor's office, you can meditate. Somebody will, you just have to wait for somebody to say, sir, you can now see the doctor. Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's the way it works. What is sadhana? So remember sadhana. Don't connect moksha to a still mind. That's all that also I want to say. Moksha is not equal to still mind. Correct. Still mind is a value. Ability to call a still mind is a value.
Also, when you mentioned moksha earlier, I just recollected when we did Tattva Bodha. It's only one Purushartha. So in other things which I think remembered, it's a freedom from security, for example, freedom from unhappy self. So finally, it is the freedom. So they're all negated because in all the other three, it is the freedom and this moksha is the freedom. So then it turns into one Purushartha moksha. And it's not security I'm seeking, it's the freedom from that security.
Correct. Freedom from seeking itself.
Seeking itself.
Yeah.
Sadhana and sadhya. The three into sadhana and the other into sadhya.
So, artha, dharma and kama are sadhya vishayaha. Moksha is siddha vishaya. Siddha vishaya. Because freedom is already there. We are trying to recognize that freedom.
Thank you.
Guruji, one quick question. So, like you mentioned about avatara, even jnanis would fall into same category where they are realized, but these qualities are all at the sukshma sharira level, right?
Yeah.
So they still, maybe their actions may be different from their because they are already realized, right? So how would the actions might sometimes bring out some of the qualities that you have mentioned, maybe even not Daivi qualities also, right? Is it possible? I'm just asking from a jnani, not a avatara.
Your question is what again?
Like, for example, I read this Sai Satcharita, right? So we see that, okay, he's also a realized, not avatara, but realized soul. Now, in that, some actions of his, you might sometimes feel like he suddenly gets angry or he does something. So they still have that sukshma sharira which operates in whatever way it operates at that particular time. So we can't say a jnani is also having only Daivi Sampada. Is that the right thing to say? Or
Correct. See, correct. So human being, we have to give humanness to all these people. You can't make them too idealistic. And then if you do that, then we only suffer in the process. They are human also. Jnanis are human. But they have a lot of patience, they have a lot of compassion, no doubt about that. No doubt about it. So they will have these values in immense measure. Yeah, they can get upset. Now, if a person gets upset often for small trivial things, then you can ask the question, what's going on, right? The person is supposed to be a Swami, but is getting upset on small things. That means the person may not even have titiksha, may not even have some of the basic values that I have. Like that, you can argue. So, yeah, occasional anger here and there, it's all allowed. It will happen. It will happen. Because human interaction is like that. Without interaction, there's no life. And so, perfectly fine. As long as it's not creating problems, correct? Because a person can use anger to
just showing anger may not be really getting angry, right?
Showing anger and getting things done and making people submit to the person and all. Now, then I begin to see problems. Okay. So we don't know what the ulterior motive is. But in Jnani, no chance. Let the Jnani have anger. That's okay. They have no problem.
Guruji, can we say that a Jnani who gets angry occasionally different from a normal person because he will not have conflicts because of that anger, and a normal person who is doing it as a sadhana will have conflicts when he exhibits anger?
Yeah, definitely. That anger will be different because it's a hangover. Hangover anger. Okay. Yeah, hangover anger. The new phrase that I'm saying now. And that anger that anger is not due to some emotional problem. It is just triggered by circumstances, and it will have no effect on the person for sure. Yeah.
I remember in Vipassana, there's a example quoted. The enlightened person who is Guru, he shouts at, I mean, I'm not quoting what is the circumstance, but he shouts at the person angrily, and then he goes inside and with S.M. Goenka's even he said, why are you angry? He laughs, actually he laughs at all that, So basically he's not angry. He comes out and laughs inside the room. So, I mean, that's the difference he was talking about. Like, it's not the anger as such. It's on the issue he shouted, but he's actually laughing at it inside.
How real can I take all these emotions? That's what he's laughing at. How could I take this so seriously? Laughing at himself,
And also, Guruji, what Prasadji was saying about the mind, even Patanjali, he has given all this as sadhanas only, right? Like if your mind is very agitated, you sit in and watch your breath. All these are sadhanas to get the mind under control. But then when you practice it for a long period of time, we realize that yes, to some extent it becomes our nature, because there is a habit of keeping oneself quiet, mind quiet. It comes instantly, but then there is no guarantee that it can help you be at a state of understanding the knowledge and getting the mind, watching the mind is different from getting into a state where you are forcing it to be quiet. There is a difference when you get and understand about Vedanta. So maybe first step is probably learn with the techniques, and then there also he talks about yama niyamas where you don't have conflicts over values. That also will help. Maybe all this falls under the sadhana, and then with the right knowledge of Vedanta, you watch it, because there's nobody who can actually completely say that okay, I'm free of all this and my mind is, because the vasana can pop up at any time. So maybe the knowledge of Vedanta will help you watch it without getting involved and without getting agitated. Is that what we are trying to understand? Like these are the
so that's the essence. That's the essence of Prasad's observation. And the conclusion should be the goal of Advaita Vedanta is moksha, which is Atma Jnanam, not calm mind. Calm mind will become a byproduct of moksha. About that. Calm mind is a sadhanam also, sadhanam, but really it is not a sadhanam for jnanam. How can calm mind be a sadhanam for jnanam? How can a calm mind become enlightened? Only Shravanam can enlighten me. How can calm mind enlighten? Calm mind is useful to absorb the teaching. I have to absorb the teaching. But calm mind itself will not take me to moksha. That is why calm mind is important. But our Advaita Vedanta Shastram will not, will not, will not talk much about it. Because that's not the goal. That's not the goal. Goal is Vedanta. You have mastery over your mind. Shama and Dhamma must be there. That's it. And then moves on from there. Spending hours and hours sitting, doing pranayama and doing this, then not acceptable. In Advaita Vedanta, it's a waste of time, we will say. You keep your health. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your mind. Do what it takes. And then move on. Move on. There are many more important things to do. Many more important things to do. Yeah. So correct. I think that's the gist of this discussion. Right? Meera, you were trying to say that, right?
Yeah. Because I was trying to understand all the sadhanas only can take you to a certain extent, right? It is
certain extent means what? Antakarna Shuddhi is what Shastra wants you to have.
Yeah.
Not proper breathing and all. It doesn't, there's nowhere. Did you see anywhere Vivekam, Vairagyam, Shamadhi, Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutva? Samadhi mein kya hai? Sama, Dama, Uparati,
Diksha,
Shraddha, Samadhanam. Samadhanam is Chitta Ekagrata, right? Means ability to not keep the mind blank, ability to stay focused on a topic for a given length of time. If I can keep my mind blank for some time without any thoughts, that means that will help me focus on a thing I want for a length of time. That silence of the mind is meant for the mind not to be silent. It's thinking. Focus means on a particular topic means not, you have to stay focused. Stay with that thought, a particular thought. Samadhan. And other things, disturbances will come. And then you have to be able to say, okay, that can wait. That can wait. To say that can wait. It's a very big thing. Samadhan. Correct? You have to connect it to that. Connect it to that. Then we will see the value of meditation, silence, calmness. All that is beautiful. Only a calm mind can really do Shravanam. Correct? Yes, finally, Shravanam. So, we will see it all coming together, right? It's all coming together slowly.
The difference, I just remembered one thing, example of watching a movie on the screen. In case of the Chitta Vritti Nirodha, I mean, the Patanjali's thing, it's the mind where I need to understand the screen, switch off the projector. That's one way. Switch off the projector. No, I know now the projector. But Vedanta, once I know a screen, even if the movie is going on, I still know what is screen. So the difference in that example.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Correct. In the midst of all activity, I am clear. Karmanya karma yah pashyet, akarmani cha karma yaha. Sabuddhiman manishya. Correct. Okay, pause with that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.